I did a first grade lesson called Sort Two-Dimensional Shapes. And reflection from prior lesson, I said that we talked about the attributes of triangles and rectangles. They did well with being able to count how many sides are on each shape, but they had trouble remembering the word vertex, and that is the word when two lines come together in a point in the shape, also called the corners. So we had to review that. Pretty much the standard wants students to know that all shapes are closed lines put together, and that it doesn't matter the color, size, or orientation of the shape. It's still the same shape, no matter which way it is flipped or what the color or size it is. The objectives: students will define two-dimensional shapes by their attributes, and students will use the two-dimensional shapes attributes to sort the shapes. And then materials: smartboard, computer textbook, and then the on your own worksheets. Contextual factors: I said they're not crazy about math, but they seem to be enjoying the shapes. They stay focused for the most part because we do math right away in the morning. They're more engaged when we do smartboard lessons, or when they really like to use manipulatives. And there are some students who struggle and lack motivation in math, but they work harder when they get to use the manipulatives and the smartboard. So first I start off with a review for the introduction. I'll just have students tell me how many sides the triangle has, and then I'll just write it in the blanks right here, and then how many sides and vertices the rectangle has. And then I'll ask them which is the triangle, and I'll have a student come up here and hopefully circle this red one. And then I drew this one, and we'll just briefly talk about how this is not considered a triangle, even though it has three sides, since it's open and not closed, that it cannot be considered a triangle. And then for more review, I'll have the students come up and they can put the correct number of sides in the correct vortex, so 3 sides in the triangle. And if they put it in the wrong one, it spins back out, and then you can reset it. So first I start by showing them all these shapes, and then I could say, how are these shapes alike? So they could say by color, by size. How can we sort all these shapes? So with my pen, I'll write at the bottom maybe some of the ideas that they might have, which could be, like I said, color, vertices, sides, lines, curved lines, straight lines, etc. So I give them a problem. Ms. Sopko wants to sort these shapes to show a group of triangles and a group of rectangles. How should she do this? So then first I say, let's get rid of all the shapes that are not a triangle or a rectangle. So then I'll have call on students to come up, and they'll put the ones that are not a triangle or rectangle in the trash. So then you can just move it to here and put these 3 circle or oval in the trash, and if they put the wrong one, then it shoots it back out. And then I say, okay, these are the ones that we have left. If I want to put them into the group of triangles and rectangles, I'll say, can I sort them by color? They should say no. Should I sort them by size? They should say no. And then I have all the shapes down here, and then I'll have the students come up and put them in the correct column. So if you do this, and then you push the check button, it'll have the green check marks, and then if you reset it and you put them in the wrong one and you check it, then it'll have an X by it. Or you can also click the solve button and it'll show you like that. And then the next slide is just the same thing. I'll have the students do it again. And then to wrap it up, I'll have the students review how many sides are in the triangle, the rectangle, and then the circle. Obviously there's 0 sides and vertices. And then I'll give them work time to work on their on your own worksheets. And And then the assessments, obviously the formal ones will be the worksheets. I'll ask them to identify shapes based on their sides and vertices. And then the informal ones are just observation from myself, and then how students react or interact with the smartboard, and then also group discussion. Differentiated instruction, the students who are having troubles, I thought I could give them little cheat cards to tape to their desk, and it'll remind them how many sides and vertices that each shape has, and then each time we introduce a new shape, they'll add it to the card, and then they can only use these when they're working on assignments or during lessons. And then the students who are understanding it, I can show them more complex shapes such as trapezoids and hexagons right away. Then language support. When giving them worksheets and or quizzes, I could verbally give them directions, and then I could also give them little vocabulary card cheat sheets to put on their desk, so they would have things such as vertices equals corners, so then they can remember that. And then the resource is the Go Math textbook, and that's it.